participating entities. In terms of set-top box registrations and installations, I've also visited post offices in 6 provinces of Northern Cape, Northwest, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Free State, and the Eastern Cape to evaluate progress made on issuing of set-top boxes to the public. We are comfortable that there are no set-top boxes issued to beneficiaries that are laying in post offices. In post offices where we found non-issued set-top boxes, we facilitated that they are issued to registered households and excess stock moved accordingly. We are planning to complete our SAPOF evaluation in the remaining provinces of Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape during this month of August. The total number of new registered households between April 2022 and July 2022 now stands at 61,155, and this translates to an average of 15,288 registrations per month, therefore representing a decline in set-top box applications and registrations. And this is consistent to our message that it's not a large number of people who qualify who have not applied for the set-top boxes. Based on the consolidated number of registrations and installations, including the rolled over numbers from KZN and Eastern Cape provinces, which we could not install on time due to floods, we are now left with approximately 244,000 installations to complete. We will continue to evaluate registrations for the period to September as we move towards determining the final analog switch-off date that we'll undertake consultations on. We continue to improve our set-top box installer capacity across the country. As we celebrate the 66th anniversary since the August 9th Women's Month, I'm pleased to report back to the country that 44% or 473 of our installer enterprises are women-owned. Tomorrow I'll be meeting with these women installers to not only engage them on digital migration matters, but on how we must support them to participate and grow their businesses within the ICT technical fields. Our commitment to the struggle for the total emancipation for women from economic exclusion, gender-based violence, and any form of discrimination targeted towards women is not symbolic, but deliberate, intentional, and resolute, and asijiki. We owe this to our forebears, but most importantly, we owe this to future generations of women and the girl child who deserve to live in an equal society. Today, I'm also accompanied by Ms. Tumelo Muluko, who's 15 years old, and she's in grade 9, and she aspires to be the first female president of this republic. And her dream should be possible without the albatross of her gender. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for the statement briefing the nation, and we welcome our future President. We would also like to acknowledge the presence here, ladies and gentlemen, of Ms. Nomvuyiso Baki, the CEO of the Association of Comms and Technology, NPC. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after this inspiring presentation by the Minister assuring the nation of where we're going as a department on this program, I would like to open the session to questions. We would firstly check if we do have questions online and if there are questions in the House. We will start with, say, the first round of, say, 5 questions, and then we will see how far we can go, or the appetite for questions. As I indicated, Minister has been briefing the nation well over 6 times in this media briefing alone, and on a number of other platforms, and she's been to so many places in the country, no more in KZN, Cleveland's hostel, in KZN, all over the country. So it will not surprise me if there are a few questions, because Minister has been briefing the nation as she committed in October last year. By that, can I see by the show of hands from the House, colleagues would like to put questions? Okay. Can you please indicate your name and then the media house that you're representing, and then you can put your question as clearly and as succinctly as you possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, I have one hand by show of hands. Can we see how many questions we have in the House? Okay, we have one from the SABC. Do you have questions online, Ismail?
Thanks, Chairperson. We don't have questions.
Yet. Okay, thanks. Can we give this opportunity then to the colleague from the SABC to ask his question?
Good afternoon, colleagues. I don't know if this is on. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Katle Onohodi. I'm from the SABC. I just wanted to check in with the Minister around the issue of the digital economy and the impact so far rolling out of this set of boxes into various communities. And also mine is again on the issue of the rural communities that have constantly basically that has been a challenge in terms of them feeling like they're going to be left behind when this process eventually gets underway in September. So I wanted to find out about the stumbling blocks, especially where the rural communities are concerned. If the minister, during her visit to all of these areas, she picked up as concerns that maybe the department has been inundated with addressing some of those concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I think that's the only question we have. Don't you have any question from the online platform, Ish? Not yet. Okay. Honorable Minister.
Thank you. I'll start with the last one. Thank you for that question, for those questions. Actually, what we are finding in rural communities is a different story. Our people have long migrated through satellite television, but also others have migrated through digital television, because the digital television has penetrated this country, has started to come into this country from 2006, ramped up 2010, 2012, the number has gone up. And as we are talking to you now, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition then passed a gazette that prohibited the importation and distribution of analog television. So it means if you go to stores, except those who are doing fake products, if you go to retail stores, you cannot buy now an analog television normally if you are, because it will be clearly marked that it is not compatible with the new network that is available. What you can buy is a digital television, and it's also marked with a symbol of the Go Digital. Unfortunately, I came from other things, but the program director is wearing a shirt that has the Go Digital logo, which is popular with my bin bucket hats that are known that we carry the Go Digital logo. That's what everybody is buying now in the markets. That's one. But also, where we've been, and we've been in a number of communities, we find communities that are happy. The feedback is, and if those of us, of you who joined in the SABC Umhlaba went anyway with us at Lwandle, the feedback is that there's an improvement. When you have applied, the turnaround time, people are feeling they are being reached. That's why you're also not seeing a number of increase in the application, for a simple reason that you had numbers where they were going up. At some point around October, November, we were reporting 50,000 average a month. Now we're averaging around 15,000. The issue was people would have applied. Some of them, remember, the application process did not start now. Some had applied in 2015, some applied 2016 or 2017 or whatever time they had applied. But when they see the installations not coming, when we started to say, go back, we are coming to install, we are going to switch off, there this feeling that they must go back to reapply. So we had a lot of duplicates applications which get sifted. So when you apply, when they complete, they pick up, that's the duplicate, and then it goes off. But now the numbers are no longer duplicating, because people are confident that if they've applied, they are going to be reached. Because even if an installer comes to your house and they don't find you, they leave a message to say, we were here, contact us on this number when you're available. So this sense that the notion that people will be left behind is not there. Yes, you have instances where there are communities who majority never took it seriously, and now they are waking up and taking it seriously. And that's where your ward councillors are coming in handy, and the traditional leaders are coming in handy. And that's why we've made an arrangement that where the communities say the post office is far, or they do not know where they can get the form, they go to their ward councillor. The ward councillor has the information. The ward councillor is able to go and collect the forms. At either calling us, we arrange for the forms to go. They can go to the post office, or the forms are available at the municipality through the collaboration with SALGA, and make sure that they can then go into their communities. They've been organizing a number of community meetings for people to apply. And what we are starting to pick up, in fact, these numbers that we're talking about, the 61,000 since April to date that we're talking about, majority is people who are using the private satellite TV channels. And now they're saying, no, we no longer want to pay for that. We don't have money. The economy is tight. But it's always repeats in those channels in any case. And I don't want to talk about brands in case I get sued. I don't have the protection of Parliament today. They say, no, we want to watch this government TVs which are free, and there are more channels that are coming, and that's why we continue to challenge the SABC to say you must produce more local content because it gives our people an opportunity. So majority of the people we are finding is where we are replacing a private satellite provider with a government decoder in their households. That's what we are finding in the main, and we accept that because it means more viewers for the SABC, but it also means more South Africans who can have local content is supported in there, but also meaning that you don't strain the indigent households in terms of the budgets that they have. And you asked an interesting question around the digital economy. How does the rollout link with that? The rollout links with the digital economy on a number of fronts. One, when we switch off, like we have already auctioned the spectrum has been released to the telcos. They have started to deploy the infrastructure to make sure that they can have access. But in rural areas where you didn't have that, they still have to extend the rollout of the networks, the 4G and the 5G networks. So when you roll out the 4G and 5G network, it means my cousin who stays in Hachikunda Marema, or who stays in Chifudi or Gaba, or who stays in Khumbu, or who stays in the Strand, who they do not have network, then they could have access to the network. The network can be rolled out to their own local areas. Then they will have access. Because there are people, as we talk today, they cannot call because there's no network. I can give you areas in Limpopo, in Eastern Cape, in KZN, in Free State, even in the Western Cape and Northwest. And they don't have access to the network. Even to make a call, at best they can have network on the edge network for call and basic SMS. They do not have a data network. So it affects how we participate, because the digital economy requires us to participate, to use data. You purchase things online, you go to school online, you work online, you do a whole lot of things online. But also on that, the rollout of set-top boxes and any other technology that is coming, it enables us to then use to say what is the capacity that we have to manufacture the devices or gadgets that are used here. I've learned today that South Africa has capacity to manufacture routers and other things, and I'm going to challenge the telcos to say, why are you still importing routers from other continents when they can be manufactured here, and challenge ourselves as government to say what incentives do we put in place to support the ones who are already manufacturing, because the digital economy cannot be us being consumer of other people's products and devices. It should be us putting that. As such, as a department, we are working together with the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition around the semiconductor, re-establishing South Africa's semiconductor industry for the electronics and related products, to say where we have capacity, we should be able to do that. Why should, when we have the largest auto manufacturing industry in the country, why should we rely to other countries for chipset technology that is required in the auto manufacturing, when we can do that? We use that in the electronics and telecommunications. We use that in automotive, and interestingly, the ore that produces those devices comes from this continent and comes from this country. Why shouldn't we then build our manufacturing capacity? So we are working very closely with the DTIC on making sure that the semiconductor industry comes in, so that the digital economy, as we roll it out, because we have a target that by 2024, at least 30% of this economy of the country must be digital. By 2030, we want to have 50% being digital, because we are lagging behind other continents and other countries that are in the same space with us, which we have opportunities. So we are committed to getting all South Africans participate in the digital economy, not being left behind. But to do that, we must first bridge the digital divide. It will mean everybody must have access to network. It will mean that we must conclude broadcast digital migration, so that we can release the spectrum for use for everybody, so that the rural and peri-urban areas can be reached out. We have gone to cabinet with a policy or revised policy on spectrum. Part of that, we are talking about a roadmap of how by when will South Africa have a full coverage of 4G and 5G networking, so that we can participate in that digital economy. And I hope we all partner with us to make sure we conclude the digital migration as so that we can then not be left behind from the digital economy. And as a government and the partner entities in the department, we are confident with the support of the installer enterprises and entrepreneurs, we are confident that we are on course to conclude what we have to conclude by September, as we announce the date when we have done the projections, because we are busy with those analysis for consultation to say this is the date we think would have concluded installations with everybody, and this is the date we are going to switch off analog completely in this country. And I must remind South African, analog has been switched off already in 5 provinces, being the province of Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, Free State, and the Northern Cape. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Colleagues, we're not going to prod further questions. If there are no further questions, we will then bring this session to its conclusion. Oh, okay, I see there could be questions online. All right, Ismail.
We have 2 questions from Aseri, Capital Life, SA 99.0 FM. Minister, you have once mentioned that there's a way to set up a smart TV and one does not have to install the decoder. Is this to all smart TVs? Minister, lately there is information that one needs to buy a TV with a Go Digital logo. What will happen to those with smart TVs without the Go Digital logo and does not configure transition? That is all for now, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Is there a question maybe that we may take from the House, or can we only take this question and conclude that that will be all? Okay, there's no question from the House. The COO will take this one.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the question from Aseri. I think she's from Capital Life, and she wanting to understand whether the smart TVs can be set up, and one doesn't need to have a decoder there. That is correct. However, the TV is smart because it has multiple capabilities. One needs to just understand that it can be smart on the back of its digital capability, IP capability, and other things. So to be specific, on a digital-ready TV, it has something called integrated digital tuner. So we identify those with the manufacturers by putting the Go Digital logo on those particular TVs. And a user have a choice. You're asking a question, Aseri, what do you do with a smart TV if you have procured it? A smart TV has multiple uses. It can be interfaced with IP. Television is moving to OTT right now. You can interface the TV directly and watch television over OTT on that particular TV. So there are multiple mediums on which you can receive televisions. It is terrestrial, it is satellite, it is also via OTT. So these TVs have those capabilities. But for the purpose of digital migration, the TV needs to have what is called integrated digital tuner. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, CEO. Okay.
The last question was, what do you do when the TV is when you bought a TV didn't have a Go Digital logo? We have a list in the website of the department, www.dcdt.gov.za. I think also on the website of Centec and the website of USASA and the website of SAPO, I think. We have a list of television sites, because we then did the Go Digital logo for the TVs, make it compulsory with agreement of the manufacturers so that there cannot be confusion. So you go into that if you go into the websites, you can check if your TV it hasn't that integrated tuner, because it will be Go Digital and it will have the list. So there are TVs that were procured before that, you check there. But if it doesn't have the option that Mr. Lishope has just given you of how to integrate it so that you can continue using your smart TV and watch television without using a decoder, still remains available. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much, CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, that then brings this briefing to its conclusion. And we really want to thank you so much, colleagues from the media fraternity, for coming through always when we invite you and assisting us to take the message to the people of our country. Enjoy the remainder of your afternoon, and let's continue having a lovely Women's Month. Thank you.
So they must find creative ways of things to do well.
I will take care of
What do you want to work when there's a little cousin? I don't know. Your children, even children, they don't.
I think we want to discuss it.
It's fine. We'll go and have a discussion. There are children of a lesser grade and the children of a higher grade. So you mustn't complicate your life. You mustn't complicate your life, deeply.
We actually also have to find out what
But what do you want to discuss on the program? Do I still have an office that I can book here? My office that I go. Do I still have another man? Who's organizing it to be unlocked? Oh, we can use the board for it. It's going to be more convenient.
Mashaka.